it's that time again. Another day for another win. We ain't never gonna relent. We going hard, never giving in. Hey yo, it's time for another one. Yeah, we on another run. We ain't never leaving. The competition we don't see. This is winning season. This is winning season. It's that time again. Another day for another win. We ain't never gonna relent. We going hard, never giving in. Hey yo, it's time for another one. Yeah, we on another run. We ain't never leaving. The competition we don't see. This is winning season. This is winning season. This is winning season.
Welcome in live to the Uncaged podcast here at Buffalo Wild Wings. We have something a little different here tonight. We normally have our athletics programs in the building, but we have a fine arts program here today. We have indoor percussion alongside us as well as Winterguard here with us. And alongside me, I'm Dylan Rivera. This is Adam Wiencken. He's the percussion specialist here at Broken Arrow. And down on the end is Grace Summers. She is a color guard instructor here at Broken Arrow. It's been a busy last few months for both of you all, and I want to start with the Winterguard first because you all just got finished with your biggest show of the year, your state competition. So
yes.
What's kind of the emotions been like now that you're off the top of the roller coaster and you're starting to ease back down?
Honestly, the emotions were high at the end of the season. Watching the middle schoolers, because they're 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, they're such babies compared to our varsity high schoolers. They were the main team that I was with and helping along, and watching them grow from like the little babies that they were into the mature middle schoolers that they are now. The emotions were high. I teared up at the end of the season. Of course I did, saying goodbye to them because we're never going to spin together at that one team again. But overall, it just sad that it's over, happy that it's over because I have some free time now. But just overall, I'm going to miss the girls. I'm going to miss watching them spin and watching them grow as performers and as students and members as well.
Certainly bittersweet, but in our conversation this morning, you had told me about the varying levels of expertise that these students have when they first become Winterguard members. Some of them brand new to dancing, some of them brand new to holding a flag,
Exactly.
Some of them are experts already. So how is that for you to try to manage all of that?
It's a little difficult going from middle schoolers who know nothing to JV members who some know nothing and some know a lot because they've already marched in the fall program with us before. And then going from varsity members who we push them, like we make them do skills that they've never tried before, never even thought of doing before. So it's very difficult going from one group to another, but once you do it for a while, it gets very easy to be like, I'm with this group, I have to be a little bit easier on them. I know their skill sets, their skill level, but overall you go with the flow, it gets easier as time goes on with them.
Well, I want to focus in on the varsity for just a moment because obviously the state competition, varsity is going to be the biggest level. So let's start there. What was the show like? What was the storyline that you guys had built, and how did it go at the state competition?
So the show is called Dear Old Friends. It has a lot of different meanings. One that we mainly talk to them about is how they deal with grief. They start in like a little clump and they go to a tree, and so the tree stump that we have has a lot of different meanings. Like if you cut down a tree, you can count each ring that it has, and like throughout the years, and like what happened in the year. You can tell if the drought has happened or if it flourished with a lot of rain. And so you see the growth throughout the years, and then the tree gets cut down and it ends essentially. And so you go through the grief process and how everyone deals with it differently. I know we tell each student, think about something that was sad happened, how do you process all of this? Or how we deal with like losing a friend, something that you had like a great friendship and now you just go separate ways. But it's just watching them do all of that and how they perform is really what they're great at. They're amazing storytellers, and we were able to read the performance from them as they did their show.
Yeah. Now, most of our people that are here in the building will know all about Winterguard, and some of the folks at home probably do too, but there may be some that are watching this that aren't even aware of what Winterguard is, and that may be because it's such a new program here at Broken Arrow. So it's different than Color Guard.
Yes.
How is it different from what BA fans may know?
So Color Guard is on the field with the marching band, and we perform on a football field. That's like the biggest difference is football field, it's 100 yards long versus a floor, like an actual floor where we perform where it's like might be 85 feet long. So it's very different, and it's a lot more intimate because the audience members are sitting this close from the performers to the spectators, and so they get to see what's actually on their face a lot closer, and it's easier to feel what they're feeling because they're sitting right next to them watching them.
So it makes telling stories maybe a little bit more complicated, and a little bit more complete. So how do you try to, in practice and rehearsals, try to get these performers ready to tell the story properly?
We do something called consistency reps, especially with our varsity members, where we do like a small chunk, maybe from like one section to another, like very small, and we focus on how well they perform and how well they toss and how well they catch. So we want to make sure that they feel comfortable and confident in that one small section versus before we're going on. So we just talk about a lot of what they're supposed to be feeling, how they're supposed to be projecting in those little consistency reps, and we perfect that moment before moving on.
I'm sure coming away from this that you all felt like it was a successful second
Yes.
year. In what ways can you take the success of this year and continue to build on it for year number 3 of the Winterguard program?
I think this year, especially we worked a lot on the skills that we have and how to improve everything. And just going on, we already have this base that we're working with. And so next year we can say, this is the standard, this is what we're doing. And so we can push them even more. So like every year we just get a little bit different because the base level is just higher from the year before.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys continue to raise the bar for
Yes,
sure.
me too.
I don't want to continue to ignore my friend Adam here in the middle. He's kind of been monkey in the middle here. You guys have had a busy last few months as well. Like I said at the top of the broadcast here, indoor state this weekend for you all, and that's going to be at the event center. So everybody come out. Make sure you come catch the group in action, and then you guys go to nationals the following week, and that's out in Dayton, Ohio. So this is a busy time for you all. How are you trying to keep them focused but confident at the same time?
Well, that's an important part of the year. I mean, just like with with sports teams, this is essentially our playoffs, right? So we've built a great foundation with the students. We keep them motivated. We talk about the standard. The standard is the standard. Keeping them motivated, and it's this time of year is. Can you find little things to continue to refine and clean? But also the big one is being consistent. And can you be consistent through a long, extended period of time is really what we're talking about right now. So a lot of the adjustments and a lot of the things that we're talking about in rehearsal are incredibly minuscule, but it's getting excited about those details to clean those things up. And then our show is roughly 6.5 minutes long. Can we perform for 6.5 minutes with nothing in there? And for how long can we go without any mental mistakes? So at this part of the season, it's about performance, it's about communication, it's about delivering that emotional response, but it's also about that mental concentration and delivering over time and being consistent, not only from rep to rep, but day to day, week to week, performance to performance.
Well, you guys are in the top cut of students and performers around the country. You guys are in the world-class division,
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And there's 3 different classes, and you guys are in that top division. So you're competing against some of the best. And I know one thing that you told me was you've yet to compete against some of the best
right.
because you guys have just been rehearsing and practicing, and you haven't had a competition yet. So this is the first real test and the first time to see some other bands and indoor percussion teams go after it. So what do you think that environment will be like for these students?
I mean, one thing that, that we're fortunate with is, we've been to Dayton the last 4 years. So we do have a good collective of students who know what that expectation is and what we're leading to. It definitely is a challenge when you're not competing against anybody until essentially the playoffs. Like one thing we talked about, this would be the equivalent if our Broken Arrow football team just scrimmaged each other and then they went straight into round 1 of the playoffs. This is essentially what that is.
Yeah.
But like we rely on the leadership of our students, our staff. We have a forward vision of where we want to be. One thing that I talk to the kids about every single year is our goal is to be the best version of ourselves. And in a subjective activity, we don't want to give that power to the 8 people that put a number down. But our goal is to keep pushing ourselves to be a better version of ourselves. And we can control what we can control. We can control our mental attitude. We can control our energy. We can control our focus, our teamwork. We can control those things. We can't control what numbers are put down. So I think just having a more focus of let's just take care of our own business and be where we want to be. And if we do those things, that'll set us up for where we want to be competitively once we get to Dayton.
And you talked about cleaning up mental mistakes, and to me, rehearsing and doing all of this practicing without seeing anybody else, I feel like staying mentally checked in might be a challenge. So how do you try to keep them engaged in rehearsal time and practice time?
Well, we haven't necessarily competed against other groups, so we haven't had a comparison. However, we still have had performances in front of panels of judges. And some of the folks that we've seen thus far this season, we might see in Dayton.
Yeah.
So, that also keeps us on our toes. Is we may not have the comparison between us and another group. However, there was a judge that we might have seen February 7th, February 14th, March 28th, or this Saturday that we see again in Dayton. So one thing we talk about with the students is you only get one chance to make a first impression. So even though you're not competing against another group, that performance experience is still very important. And honestly, at some level, it's not about competing with anybody else because, again, I don't want our success to be dictated by whatever the judges felt that day, whatever number they put down. So for us, it's about making sure when we do have those performance opportunities that we are at our best and that it's representative of our best possible performance at that time.
Bringing up that point, I do kind of want to bounce one extra question to Grace about that is with Winterguard, how do you all try to maintain a level head with the same problems, it being a subjective field and a subjective competition? How do you try to keep everybody calm, cool, and collected in those moments?
Yes. So before every performance, we try to bring the girls in as a group, and we talk to them as directors. And one thing I always try to say, especially for our last competition or anything major, is I like to say that it doesn't matter what placement we get, whether it's last place, third place, first place, doesn't really matter, as long as they're happy and comfortable and just happy with what they did on the floor. So as long as they're happy and said, yes, I did a good job, I did my job on the floor, that's all I care about and what Miss Hensley cares about, the actual color guard director. So if they're happy, then we're happy. If they get first place and they're happy, that's great. And if they get third place and they're happy, that's great too. As long as they're happy with what they did on the floor and how well they performed. That's all we really care about. The numbers don't really matter either.
As long as they put out a performance that they can be proud of.
Yes.
That's what you're looking for.
Yes.
For you all, I know national stage, you want to be there on that final day. And that's sort of the benchmark for you all.
Yeah.
You said you've been there the last 4 years, so it's become the standard, as you said. So how challenging is that, though, to go up against 25 other schools, and then they cut it down by 10, I believe, right? Is it 10-ish?
So roughly there's maybe 26 or 27 groups in the preliminary round. That gets cut down to 20 for the semifinals, and then from those 20, that gets cut down to 15 for finals.
Yeah, so a little over 10 then,
Yeah.
but around there. So it chopping half the field almost.
Yeah.
How is that for you all those first couple of days trying to keep the energy, maintain the standard, and get back to that national round?
I mean, it's certainly challenging, and the competition doesn't get any easier because everybody across the country is getting better. we can't control anyone else. We can only control what we can control. So again, one thing for us that is a strength is we have a great core of students who have been there and done it. They know where we're trying to get to. But as staff members, we also know what they're capable of. And a lot of times as staff members, we see that way before the students ever do. So our goal is we're trying to push them to reach their potential. So it's that constantly grabbing at that straw, you know what I mean? So it's keeping them focused, it's keeping them locked in on making sure we're all thinking about the same things at the same time. So at this point in the season, it's mental as much as it is anything else. They've done the reps, they know the info. There's not gonna be any brand new information they're gonna receive these last 10 days, but it's about refocusing our energy together and doing it consistently when you might warm up and it's 35 degrees and raining, but you gotta do it. It doesn't matter because it's the same for everybody else. So again, having that standard, having that work ethic, knowing where we're trying to go, and then continue to raise the bar as staff members with the students, that's what drives us to get us to the finish line.
Yeah. You all are not flying to Dayton.
No.
You are going via bus.
Yes.
That is a long road trip.
It
you
is.
guys leave, you said midnight on a Tuesday, I guess going into Wednesday. So it's a long road trip. You guys are all packed in the bus. You get there and you immediately start rehearsing and getting after it. So how is that transition? Obviously just the road trip itself, but then immediately having to jump out and get prepared for what are the biggest shows you're going to put together?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, we have the advantage that we have a number of students who've done it.
Yeah.
So they can, I rely on those students to pick up those around them of come with me, we're gonna do this, this is how this works. I mean, the kids are resilient, they work hard. Sometimes the staff members are, it's all right, where's the 5 p.m. cold brew to do this rehearsal tonight? But, we get to that part of the season and we're all kind of ready for it. We're ready, we're kind of just ready to get out there and do this thing. It's certainly challenging. I know for me at some level, sometimes having a 12-hour bus ride gets me to relax a little bit because all there is to do is just watch your Netflix, take a nap, do your thing. And part of that rehearsal on Wednesday night is let's get the blood flowing. Let's now we're rehearsing in a new place. Let's make sure that, again, we refocus. It's kind of like our walkthrough.
Yeah.
That's our chance to do our walkthrough. Let's make sure, we travel with everything and everything gets there safely. Get everything the way we want it to be. We hit every part of the show. So it's a review session, but we move quickly and we want to get the blood flowing. We want to get all those things back in our brains because it's easy on a 12-hour bus ride to kind of forget what we're doing. And then the drums, come out, we start playing. It's oh yeah, we got prelims tomorrow. So it's just a good chance for us to kind of refocus our energy after a little bit of a break, get the blood flowing a little bit, get the energy up, and have a great rehearsal getting into prelims.
My final question for you had brought up that when you guys are at the national stage, you reach the finals on Saturday. All the other groups that are not in the world class finish up their performances. They're all done. They're all wrapped up. You guys are out in the parking lots or wherever rehearsing, getting ready to go, getting off the buses and pulling the drums out. And the students will swarm, and they'll come around you, and you'll have a crowd, almost like you guys are rock stars getting off the buses. And they just want to see you guys just rehearse even.
Yes.
That's got to be a pretty unique environment to find yourself in as a high school student, and then a challenge at the same time to make sure you don't get lost in that and continue to be eyes on the target.
There is nothing like world-class finals in percussion. It's its own beast, and we talked about the WGR World Championships for percussion. There's many different classes, and world-class finals is the last event of the championships. So everything else is wrapped up, and everybody comes back to the Dayton Arena to watch that event. And like you said, should we advance to that final show on Saturday, we unload the truck and we get our snare drums out, and it's not uncommon to have 300 or 400 people around our students because they just want to watch 100%.
They're looking like this, aren't they?
100%.
Yeah.
And they just want to watch the students achieve and excel at the highest level.
Yeah.
Because if you are able to earn that, we talk about this all the time, nothing's given, everything's earned. You have to earn it. And if we earn it and we have that opportunity, people, other students, parents, staff, drum techs that are in Dayton, they want to watch these kids do what they do because it's the best 15 percussion groups in the entire country at the highest level. And they just want to see what you do. And we play an exercise and then the crowd will go wild.
Yeah.
You know, and for our kids, again, we've been fortunate the last 4 years to have advanced to that round. So the students who have been around, they kind of know what to expect mentally. Now, the first year we made finals, we had to prepare our students for that, and you can't really ever prepare for it totally. Like, they were juiced, man, because all the energy that crowd provides just doing our warm-ups. They feel like complete rock stars.
Yeah.
It's such a welcoming, supportive environment. It can be nerve-wracking, but again, by the time you get to that, you just trust your training and you enjoy it. Take it in. Don't let it distract you. That's one thing. Like, if we're in that lot and there's people surrounding, I'll bring them in and be like, listen, you all have earned the right to do this. Have fun with it, but don't let it take you out of what we're doing this for.
Yep.
Because like Grace said, our goal, very similar to what she just said with being happy with the performance, whatever our last performance is, we want that one to be the best one. And I'll be honest, that's not always the case. It's not always the case for Pride. It's not always the case for indoor percussion. So our goal is that last run, that needs to be the best possible performance we could ever do. That way, it doesn't matter what happens. You feel good about what you've done. And you don't want to let any external factors take you out of that concentration. But it's kind of like, like anything with something that's athletic. Like, it's okay to give that little extra swagger because everybody wants to watch the students be great the last day of the year and the last show of the year. So it's definitely different kind of managing all of that, but there is absolutely nothing like world-class finals on Saturday night.
Yeah. Well, I want to wish you the best of luck, not only with nationals, but with your state competition this upcoming weekend. Again, if you can make it out to the event center, it is here in Broken Arrow. Please go by and see the team perform. And I want to say congratulations to Grace and to the Winterguard team on such a great season this past year. You guys have raised the bar again, and we'll see if you guys can continue to do that going forward. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have a few of the Winterguard members come up here and join me on the Uncaged set.
All in all, there's not a better place to work.
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
It's very fulfilling.
The work that we do is hard. The work that we do changes people's lives.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job. It's a calling.
While you are teaching someone special the nuances of keeping the wheel steady, we can provide you means for you to maintain financial equilibrium. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
Tulsa Bone and Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Hey Tigers, get the only card that donates to Broken Arrow Public Schools every time you use it. TTCU Federal Credit Union has donated more than $360,000 so far. Support the Tigers with your card today.
Oh, I got my order wrong.
This is me, Jessica. And this is
Jessica?
not my coffee.
And my friend said, oh, wait, Quick Trip. And she said, you don't have to tell me your name. Please, serve yourself. And I was all, oh, then this happened.
Yeah, someone stole my drink.
That's how I learned Quick Trip has lattes on tap, and I will never have to tell a barista my name again. Quick Trip, raise your coffee bar.
Welcome back to Uncaged here at Buffalo Wild Wings. We have a few of our Winterguard performers up here joining me now. We need some applause from the audience. We got to give them an introduction here. Next to me, I've got Emma Hilton. Down there on the end is Sarah White, and in the middle is Ava Smith. I'm Dylan Rivera. Happy to have you guys alongside us. First of all, I want to just get into the show that you all performed. Really incredible story that you guys were able to tell about losing a loved one. So I'll start with you down on the end, Sarah, just about the emotions of that story and trying to not only get into the story yourselves as performers, but then share the story with the audience. What's that like for you?
It's honestly just really getting into the mindset of that lonesome or sadness, honestly. It honestly just comes from, like, with warm-up. And I usually have a thing with Ava here. And we have, like, a little pep game, but then we kind of share a little thing that makes us a little sadder just for the aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And getting in the mindset. Gets you into the place and into the character almost, right? Mm-hmm.
And you guys are doing all sorts of fun stuff in your performance. I mean, it's not anything simple by any means. So, Ava, maybe you can touch on this, is what it's like trying to do all the tricks and everything as sharp as you can and on time, and then continue to keep moving and get to your next spot. How difficult is it to do that and stay in performance mode?
Yeah, it's definitely relying on your foundations. They tell us all the time, it's all about your technique, you know. Yes, we're performing, and yes, we're moving and all of these kinds of things, but it just goes back to those fundamentals, especially I know on weapons, like, you know, on flag, gun, saber, what comes up must come down, which means you just have to catch it. So those kinds of things, and staying in time. Honestly, performing just helps you stay in time, I guess. It's definitely easy to perform and spend at the same time because you're just so connected to the show, and your performance definitely helps you with your spinning and everything like that.
Emma, when you're performing, are you thinking at all about these things? Because you guys rehearse it a million times and then you go out and you perform it. Are you still making conscious decisions, or does it just kind of become automatic for you?
It's definitely a little bit of both. I know when I'm in rehearsal and I figure something out that is, like, extremely helpful, I always want to try to remember that for being on the floor, especially if a release of a toss has been difficult for me. Thinking about actively breathing out and, like, taking a deep breath during my show is extremely helpful. So knowing what things you have to actively think about, and then knowing what things you can kind of leave up to, like, what you know to do. Finding that balance is very, very important going into, like, big competitions and stuff.
And we talked about sort of a more intimate setting for Winterguard. When you're in color guard, the stands, they're all way far away. You don't really see people's faces when you're out there. But Winterguard, you're close enough to them, you might be able to see some facial features. So how is that for you? Like, live, in person, you're seeing the reaction, Sarah, of the audience right there in the moment.
It's really, like, it makes you feel very, like, you're making them feel a certain way, so it's like an achievement in a way, because you know that you're doing the show right, or you're portraying the show as it would be for somebody else, like, in their shoes. And I just think it's very rewarding.
Yeah. And you guys have a great group all alongside you. You've got a great group of directors that make it all happen as well. So, Ava, how much of a team effort is it just to get the performance up and going?
You know, it's not just you on the floor by yourself. It definitely feels like that, you know, especially when you're in the mode and you're just in that zone of thinking, oh my gosh, I hope I catch this, or oh my gosh, I hope I'm not early, late, etc. And but looking around the floor and just seeing everyone together, spending hours and hours in rehearsal, it definitely, you know, grounds you in that you have people around you. And yeah, this is just definitely a team sport, all on bonding and trusting each other that we're going to be there for each other and we're going to have the best run for one another.
Well, with having a team, Emma, how close-knit is this group? How much are you guys spending time around each other and laughing and joking before you guys go out and perform?
Yeah, we do things specifically to bond with one another. Those are always super, super fun. And then you also have the subcategories that end up getting really close. So that's our saber line. All 4 of us are super close. That's your rifle line, A and B. And then your specialty flag line, they always get close. And then our dancers. So there's a bunch of smaller groups within us that become extremely, extremely strong performers together. And then when that starts to branch out and then they connect with the other small groups, it's just so phenomenal to watch on the floor. And being able to look at those other groups and be like, those are literally our friends. I get to spin with them. That's amazing. And all the bonding, getting to know these girls one-on-one it's one of the most rewarding parts of the season for sure.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit of Winterguard. I've seen how it goes. You guys have to roll out your own props and set them all up and everything like that, and then tear them all down and get them all out. That time crunch, how is that for you all, Sarah?
At the beginning, it was definitely stressful in a way, just because we didn't really have a flow of everything yet. But especially going down the line, with our later competitions, we definitely got in a flow of it, and it became a lot smoother and easier. But at the beginning, it was quite stressful, especially with that time crunch. But we definitely pulled through at the end, and that honestly just goes to our op parents. They did so much for us with helping us with that stump prop and helping us get the floor out and everything.
So what sort of props did you all have this year?
We had 6 pieces that made a stump, like a tree stump. It was 6 pieces, and there were 2 in the middle and a front, and it was a tree stump.
Yeah. What did y'all's uniforms look like this year? Were they a little different this year?
Yes, they were actually. We had sequins, which was a very popular thing this year, it appears to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is awesome. I'm glad we caught on. But there's 3 colors. There's orange, a tan, and a red. They're all beautiful colors. But it had a bunch of lines and stuff, creating stems of a leaf. I think it's a stem of a leaf, with one part of the costume being an actual leaf print of the color that they were in.
Wow. Okay. That's really unique. And I see you guys are wearing the T-shirts. It kind of gives me an idea of what the colors look like. So
yes.
I get an idea of it. You all had your big performance state this past weekend. How did that go for you all, Ava? I know you guys finished 3rd, but aside from the numbers, how did you all feel about it?
Yeah, it was a really good way to end our season. I think all of our hard work, it always leads up to that last performance, because they tell us in the fall that all these groups, they're so amazing, and the number doesn't matter, because the only thing that matters is how you feel getting off that floor. And it's also really special because every team just wants to have their last run be the best run that they ever have of the season. And getting that opportunity to do that as your last is something that's just truly incredible, and it completely discounts the number. It's all about how you feel getting off the floor, and it's all about just knowing that you did your absolute best during that last run.
Before you all went out there and hit the floor for the state performance, what was the message from the directors and your team? What was that like before you went out?
It was a lot of make it happen. So we absolutely never want to leave anything up to chance. That's why we do everything with the effort we would in front of a crowd. Every time we practice, it's with the mindset that we're in front of a group of people. And so every rehearsal, having that mindset, they just tell us every time we go out onto the floor, it's exactly as you've practiced, and you can't just hope for anything to happen. You can't let it happen to you. You have to actively go get your catches. You have to make them look strong. You have to look up. That chin has to be at the ceiling. It's never just going to happen for you. You kind of have to, you definitely, not only kind of, you have to go and get it yourself.
Yeah, and then after the performance, you guys go out and do it. You said yourself, Ava, there, you were proud. You felt good about it. What was the message like from the directors after the show?
They were just very proud. They were just very proud, especially for all of us with our 2 seniors. And now that they're leaving, they had a lot of words for them and just that we portrayed ourselves very well, and they thought that we told the story very well, and they were just very proud of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you two seniors, were you on Winterguard the last 2 years?
I was.
Okay.
Yes.
So my question here to you is, with it beginning and becoming a new program a couple of years ago, what was it that led you to say, you know what, I want to be a part of that? Were you already a part of Color Guard?
Yes.
So was it just a no-brainer for you?
Yeah, I have actually done 2 indoor percussion seasons as well. So I'm wrapping up my 8th season. And I love doing the intimacy of indoor percussion my freshman and sophomore year. And so whenever they suggested Winterguard for us to bring back the program, I was ecstatic. I thought it was going to be so much fun. So, of course, I had to participate. And then coming back this season again, hands down, so excited. Get me on the floor as soon as possible.
Yeah. Do you have some favorite memories, Ava, from being a part of this team?
Yeah, I think that during the fall season, it's hard to really get close with your team because we're all spread out across a football field, and you really only get close to the people that are around you. And I think in the winter season, my favorite part is just getting to know everyone better. I feel like I talk to people that I don't typically talk to, and just learning more, because this is such a intimate and very deep story to tell. We just we get to know each other because we share our thoughts about our story and what we think about when we perform, to really tell this story. And it's just amazing to see how people portray this story and how they connect to it.
And Sarah, with you being back next year, this still being a young program and you guys being so successful already, how can you all continue to raise the bar and build on what you've already had built?
I think if we have more connections and we talk with each other more, not just on the floor, I feel like that will help us connect either with the show or just each other, so that we trust each other on the field / floor. And I don't know.
Becoming closer outside. I understand.
Becoming closer, with communication and just connections.
Yeah, I think that'll go a long way for you all. Well, I think you guys had a great season this year. You guys should be proud of what you've done. Sorry, the seniors, you guys don't get to come back, but we do have Sarah coming back at least, and maybe she'll talk to us next year when we do the show again. It'll be a lot of fun. Appreciate you all coming up here. Great job. I'll have a few of the indoor percussionists coming up next year live on UNCAGED.
All in all, there's not a better place to work.
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
It's very fulfilling.
The work that we do is hard. The work that we do changes people's lives.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job. It's a calling.
While you are teaching someone special the nuances of keeping the wheel steady, we can provide you means for you to maintain financial equilibrium. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
Tulsa Bone and Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Hey Tigers! Get the only card that donates to Broken Arrow Public Schools every time you use it. TTCU Federal Credit Union has donated more than $360,000 so far. Support the Tigers with your card today.
Oh, I got my order wrong. This is me, Jessica. And this is...
Jessica?
Not my coffee. And my friend said, oh wait, Quick Trip. And she said, you don't have to tell me your name. Please, serve yourself. And I was all... Oh, then this happened.
Yeah, someone stole my drink.
That's how I learned Quick Trip has lattes on tap. And I will never have to tell a barista my name again. Quick Trip, raise your coffee bar.
Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings. It's the Uncaged podcast. We've got Indoor Percussion and Winterguard in the building here today, and alongside me now some of our indoor percussion specialists. Alongside me is Titus Johnson, and then Kira McCants in the middle, and Hadley Seedor down there on the end. You guys are just getting into the meat of your season. They had all of their state stuff go on this past weekend, but you guys are just turning that corner and performing this weekend. So Titus, I want to start with you here, is just preparing for not just the state show, but really your biggest show so far. How's everything been leading up to now?
Well, it's always like exhausting, right? We're just pushing every day, all day long. But I think that's kind of the fun, right? It's like when you're dripping sweat and like the directors are really trying to like push you, like you just know like you're there, you're getting there, and that feeling of coming off rehearsal and you're just like, man, I gave everything I had. It's like brighter days are to come.
Yeah, and Kira, I mean, you guys are doing this show for months in rehearsal and practice, and we work right off of the event center floor, so we hear you guys every single day, and it slowly is becoming sharper and sharper and sharper as it goes. So what's that like for you all as performers to feel it and hear it get sharper as it goes?
Being a part of it, like just watching it grow as the season goes longer and longer, it's hard to stay in it, but whenever you're staying in it and you're getting better and you can just feel it getting better every day, it just brightens up the room, it helps you perform harder, and it gets you more excited for the end of the season.
And Hadley, you guys are usually, a lot of you guys are in Pride or in some sort of field like that, so you guys know each other a lot. But in this indoor percussion setting, it's a smaller group. It's a smaller team. So what's that like getting to connect maybe on a smaller level with some of your co-students and cohorts?
Yeah, it's definitely it's more tight-knit, and you get to have better relationships with everyone. And it's just a lot, all of our subsections get a lot closer during the season, and you're just one-on-one a lot more, and all of our relationships, I feel grow a lot better compared to Pride.
Yeah. There was something I learned from a conversation with Mr. Adam Wiencken this week, and I'm a little ashamed to admit it, but I had thought to myself, indoor percussion means, you're putting on a show, mostly it's going to be all percussion instruments. But you guys have a featured saxophone in your show this year. How different is it to have some of those other instruments play a part, and in this case, a big part, Titus, in a solo in the show?
Well, it makes it so unique, right? You're so used to hearing these drums, snares or tenors, wow, it's very percussion-y. But Bo on the soprano saxophone really adds this layer of depth that we had to it. And we call it, the percussion kids, and Mr. Wiencken does, a snake charmer, right? We're just bringing the audience in, because that's also where the cymbal feature's at. So it adds this extra layer of depth and detail that most shows and don't really have, and it adds a cool, unique little flip to ours.
Yeah, and in talking about connecting with the audience and trying to charm them, right, is that a challenge for you all, just trying to not only play your instrument, but tell a story?
Well, of course, right, the dual responsibility, if you performance, then it's how well you can play. Then how well you can play and look smiling on your face, and how well you can play clean, right? But then that also adds a layer of wow, this is my show. Difference between me standing still and just looking stern and me performing adds completely emotion. I've never truly cried after performance, but indoor, it brings a whole other level, because you're just there, and the audience cheering you because they can see you. Mm-hmm. It just unlike anything else.
Yeah, a different feeling for sure. And Kira, with that being the case, and I know you guys are all, like I said, part of Pride and everything like that, so you're maybe used to being on a football field, and suddenly you go indoors and you've got somebody just a stone's throw away from you. You can see their expressions. How is that for you on the floor to see live feedback?
I really feed off of the crowd's energy, and being able to see their faces and their reaction to everything we do, it makes me feel so much better about how much work we've put into the show, especially to see a smile or them stand up and start clapping. It's so much easier to perform and be able to express my emotion throughout the show whenever I get to see their faces.
I'd asked the Winterguard team this, and now I'll ask you all about your story and what you're trying to tell this year. What's your piece about Hadley this fall or this spring?
I don't know. know. I think it's more of a show about exploring, and at the beginning, it's an adult like lost in space, and then as you go through, the character will get younger. And I think you really, based on the part of the show, you need to perform like what's going on. So at the beginning, it's kind of like mysterious, and then when you get to the end, you can like be more like curious and like be more like confident with how you're like presenting yourself. And it's really fun to be able to have like such a contrast in the way you're performing.
And you guys have, I don't even know how to describe it, a giant gold prop out there. I don't know what it is, but I see it almost every day. It looks incredible, but it has a purpose as well out there, because you guys end up hitting on that too and making some noise with that as well. So how much are you guys involving props in your show, and what does it look like for this spring, Hadley?
I'd say we get to use it a lot of different times. Like I know in part 3, the snares like play on it like they're like laying down on it. Like I can't even like, it's awesome. Like it's stuff that we've never done before, and they'll like actually play on it. Like it's just crazy like how much you can use it. Like the cymbals will get on it. Like everyone's just being able to like use it a lot, and it's just really cool to get to see what you can do with it and things that we've never really done before, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it seems like a really unique show that you all are putting together, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to see what the finished product looks like. Obviously, the finished product goes out at the national stage, and that's where you all want to make sure that you're there for that final weekend. He mentioned it earlier, Mr. Wiencken did, is a lot of you all have been there before. Kira, I think I've talked to you before about this, so I'll turn this to you, is being at that stage and performing on the national stage. What's that like?
It's just crazy to see everyone in the crowd and all the lights shining down on you. Your heart's just racing, and you're getting excited for the performance, but you also have to kind of keep it mellow until you just start performing, because if you take it in, like your performance will be so much better. And just seeing everyone out there just with a smile on their face when they announce Broken Arrow Indoor Percussion, it's just so nice to hear.
Yeah, and then Titus, for you all, the goal is to get to the final stage and be amongst the top 15. For you all to get there, how do you do it?
It takes everything, all the time, everywhere, right? There is no like extra step to greatness. You just have to go step by step by step every single day. There is no elevator. You have to take the stairs. And that requires everyone to be fully committed. I like to say, like, you have to be drinking the juice. You have to be like fully developed and like devolved about it, right? And I think for us this year, we've kind of like found that a lot more, to a point like we're getting rehearsals where it's like, man, what am I looking at, right? We're just in, and that when that happens, you just know. And no matter what placement we is, like we don't care. Mr. Wiencken says, no matter what the judges say or what 8 people tell us to do, as long as we feel great about our final rep of the show, that's all that matters to us.
Yeah.
No matter the placement or the score.
I like that you talk about it, kind of being so important to you. So how much of your time is occupied thinking about this show? I mean, are you in class thinking about, okay, what can I do to sharpen up my performance?
Way too much time. Like, I say it to my family all the time, I dream about this, and that's like scary because I don't dream a lot, but it's purely like when Pride starts, it's just Pride, and when Indoor starts, it's just Indoor, right?
Yeah.
Like in class, I would just be like flipping my cymbals in my hands or just going through my choreo in my head. It's like everything. It's all I talk about.
Yeah.
I can talk to any of my friends. It's purely Indoor. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna get better? And that kind of creates a tone of like, you're just so addicted to this that it's everything. So when you come off the field, you're like, man, I gave everything I had plus some.
Yeah. I wonder if you put a camera by your bedside, if you'd be hitting the cymbals in your
I probably
would. Hadley, as you guys get closer and closer to that Nationals performance, obviously everything's got to be as clean as possible. Everything's got to be sharp as possible. And I talked to Mr. Wiencken about this, and he had said that typically you all don't change very much this late in the season, but sometimes there are some minor changes that you all are still making. How do you all try to adjust the performance to get it perfectly in place for the final performance?
Well, when it comes to just minor changes, that's when you really need to just focus on that, like primarily, like make sure every single rep is as perfect as it can be given the minor changes. And then once we have no like major changes, it's just clean, be consistent, and just get as good as you can and get all the points.
Kira, for you all being in Dayton, I've talked about the performing side of it, but obviously you guys aren't all day performing. You guys are also together in the hotel room. You guys are together as a team, having lunches and dinners as a group. what's it like just being away from home with just your indoor percussion friends?
I really enjoy getting to make a stronger connection because even though the season is practically over, you still are making those connections in Dayton. Like you're becoming closer friends in Dayton because you're sharing a hotel room. Like you're spending the night basically at their house like every night, and you're just spending all your time with them, and getting to experience that with all my friends is the best feeling ever. And getting to experience the lot and watching all these amazing groups while with my friends is just something I can never forget.
Yeah. Have all three of you guys been to nationals? Okay, so you guys have all experienced this before. And Titus, the rock star feeling of getting off the bus and having all the people come out with their cell phones and video you guys rehearsing. What's that like for you all? Because I feel like as a high school student, that's got to feel pretty surreal.
Well, to be completely honest, the first time it happened my freshman year, I was like, why is the police like following us? Like, are we going to get pulled over or something? But then seeing like the hundreds of parents come out with these like amazing signs, there's no feeling like your parents are like there for you all the time. And that's super, super special. And not every day do you see that.
Hadley, my last thing for you all here is, and I don't know if you're interested in business or sales or marketing, but I want you to make a sales pitch here. You've got your state competition this weekend. If there's somebody at home that's just now learning about indoor percussion, why should they come out and see you all perform at the event center?
I think it's just unlike anything out there. Like, it's just such a small group, and it's only percussion. And I think it's just such like a specific experience that I feel like everyone should be able to see, because it's not just like a marching band. Like, it's such like a specific thing, and like they get to take their drums off and like move around, and like a lot of choreography compared to like marching band. Like, it's just something I think everyone should experience just because it's so special.
I'm looking forward to seeing how you all finish up this season, and congratulations on what you guys have already accomplished, and good luck with everything that's still ahead of you all. I'm wishing the best not only for you all, but obviously for my good friend Adam Wiencken as well. And again, thank you all for being here, both Indoor Percussion and Winterguard. It's been great having you all here at Buffalo Wild Wings. We're going to take a couple of weeks off, and we'll be back at the end of April with the track team. You'll have to tune into that one live here on Uncaged.